Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, people. So today was a shambolic performance from the whole entire team. If we're not gonna lie, the red card from Nicolas Pepe did not help the team's performance at all. The team just performed terrible altogether. But we got to talk about what we're going to give these guys in their player ratings and who's going to get what rating, who's going to get what. That's what this video is about. So we're going to have to get into the player ratings, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get right into it. Today's player ratings for the teams. And if you haven't checked out my last video, go check out my last video, which is the match reaction video. Now, if I were to rate our players to start, I got to go to Leno. Leno, for me, clean sheet. He has to be given a good rating, unfortunately. He did play well. He played well. He was one of the only Arsenal players who could say he played well today. It was Bernd Leno. And Bernd Leno, for me, out of all the players, deserves a decent rating. He's going to get, for me, at least a 7. I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. Because I felt like he played well. Bernd Leno, for me, gets a 7. Everyone else played pretty poor. They don't get as much as Bernd Leno. Bernd Leno is the main guy who gets a good rating today. Now, moving on, Hector Bellerin. Hector Bellerin, for me, played trash. He had one good ball throughout the whole entire game. When you're doing these player ratings, sometimes players are going to perform well. Sometimes players are going to perform bad. And this guy has consistently performed bad for this Arsenal team. So today in the Arsenal player ratings, he's going to get a 4. Right? Now, moving on to the next player I'm going to move on to is Kieran Tierney. I felt like Kieran Tierney played decent. He didn't do too much wrong. I'm going to give him a 6. I'll give him a 6, okay? Now, Rob Holding was all over the place. He was a mess. He did not perform well, in my opinion. Rob Holding, for me, I'll give him a 5, right? Gabriel, my guy Gabriel. Gabriel always does this. Gabriel plays well. He has his moments where he performs bad, but Gabriel today, all in all, did decent. Did not put too much wrong. Didn't have too much. He had a lot of work to do, actually. But hey, I'm going to give him, what am I going to give him? I'm going to give him a 6, okay? Now, moving on to midfield. Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka had an absolute garbage performance, did not do anything well today. He was out of position almost every single time that he had the ball. To me, Granit Xhaka was one of the worst performers on the pitch. Granit Xhaka, for me, gets nothing more than a 4 for Granit Xhaka. Now, one of the best performers on the pitch today, Danny Ceballos, was the man in the midfield, pulling the strings, doing well, kept the ball a lot. He was always trying to put effort on the game, do something with the ball. And for me, he deserves a high rating. To me, he's going to get a 6. That's a decent rating, in my opinion. Now, Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe got sent off, got a red card, did some stupidness. Shocking, absolute shocking reaction to getting tackled. Absolutely shocking. He hit the crossbar early, but hey, Nicolas Pepe, for me, gets a 0. Now, Joe Willock. Moving on to Joe Willock. Joe Willock he tried his best. He tried his best. Joe Willock, 21 years old, quiet performance, didn't really do as much as he could have done. He could have done a lot more, but hey, Joe Willock, for me, failed to do much, so he gets a 4. That is me being as fair as possible. Willian did not do much in the first half, and he left the game after halftime with that battle that he got with Luke Ayling. To me, in the time that he played, he got a 5. He didn't do too much, right? Now, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in the first half was absolutely having a nightmare. Let's be honest, he was having a nightmare. Lack of service, lack of productivity, lack of anything. To me, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang did not do well today. He gets a 5. Now, for the substitutes, Reece Nelson came in at halftime. He performed well. I'll give him a 5. Ainsley Maitland-Niles came off the bench. Did not really have enough time to show me anything, so he doesn't get really a high score at all. I don't really think I can rate him. And Bukayo Saka came in and gave us the best chance of the game. For me, Bukayo Saka, I'll give him a 6. And for me, man of the match today can go to nobody else but the man of the match can go to nobody else but Brent Leno. Brent Leno, I felt like was man of the match today. But if not Brent Leno, it would have been Danny Ceballos. But I feel like Brent Leno was man of the match. And three things we learned today. Three things we learned today is that we still, even with Aubameyang playing up front, we still have problems. Another thing is we need more creativity in the midfield. And the final thing is we're just not the finished article, guys. This has just been poor. It's been poor, front to back, been poor. All right. And hey, if I were to do closing remarks, we got lucky. Leeds should have won this game. We got super lucky. But hey, we move on. Next game, Wolves. Laters, everybody.